4 months ago, I assembled my first mixed brand watercolor palette. Since then, I've gotten to know my paints a little better, and I've acquired new colors as well. So, to help me decide which ones to remove and which ones to add, I decided to make individual cards for each of my paints that are in tubes, with just the info that's important to me: color name, brand, pigment number, and transparency rating, and of course, swatching. The black box is there to show opacity, if any. I started with two colors I've just recently gotten: maroon perylene and turquoise, both from M. Graham. Expect to see a future video where I more thoroughly explore each of them, but for now it's the all swatch show, using Canson XL cold press paper and a 12 round Neptune brush. The first two colors are at regular speed, but then we switched to double speed for the rest. The cards were organized by brand, so the order will be M. Graham, Daniel Smith, Core, Winsor & Newton, Sennelier, and Holbein. As the title of this video says, it's part one of my watercolor palette redo, which I'm calling the Swatch-ening, because it's October and that's a nice creepy title, right? Makes it sound like what I'm doing here is some sort of sadistic ritual of punishment, which some might say is entirely too appropriate. After all, the artist stereotype isn't a cheery sort. No, it's a surly and mopey one, possibly due to mistaking paint water for tea one too many times. Speaking of tea, I am having my first cup of Trader Joe's Pumpkin Spice Rooibos Herbal Blend. It was one of the goodies dropped off by my good friend. It's like fall in a cup, and the tin is so pretty. At first, I thought I'd have to dust off my teapot, but no, the tea is in bags, which these days I consider a plus. Yeah, I expect this will be one of those videos you would put on, then you'd fix a cup of tea, maybe some toast. Oh, and you've got to grab a plate and a napkin, so when you actually pay attention, it's already at the until next time spiel. I've replayed many videos that way because I'd missed all of the good food porny moments or the best parts of those handcrafted soap videos, the pouring and the slicing. But if you rewatch this one in search of money shots, well, the joke's on you because there are none. Each color swatch is as boring as the next. I kid, of course, but I understand that watercolor swatching, while one of my favorite forms of entertainment, is quite a niche interest. This is just me advancing the cause, and perhaps someday there will be a society of watercolor swatchers, which sounds frightening. In part two of this series, I will go through the cards, probably by color groupings, and select the 28 colors that I want to include in my main palette. Part three will be the creation of the color chart to accompany that palette. So the series should form a nice little trilogy of sorts. Considering the seasonal things I want to do this month, parts 2 and or 3 might end up being November uploads, but we'll see. It's a project I'd been putting off, but I really just needed to do it. And we all remember the most important rule of surviving a trilogy is that in the third one, you've got to cryogenically freeze his head, decapitate him, or blow him up. Okay, that's really for horror film trilogies, but still. what does this watercolor swatching project have to do with autumn or anything spooky? Nothing. But I'm trying, and reaching for those connections is the most exercise I've gotten this year. That's including going out to the shops and seeing what's out there in the way of seasonal merchandise. We'd already visited Spirit Halloween, Michael's, Target, and Home Goods, and today we checked out a local garden supply and nursery. They had some lovely displays of pumpkins and gourds outside, but sadly very little inside. That's right. 1 week into October, and they had cleared out Halloween and were setting up Christmas. Not gonna lie, I was a little bummed, but I get it. Not everyone is as into the season as we are, and there are other ways to get our Halloween on, such as playing an autumn cozy video while brewing a pot of Trader Joe's pumpkin spice coffee. Yum! It has been 7 months since uploading my first YouTube video. I like to think there's a big difference between that first clumsy effort and the latest clumsy efforts, if only in the sound quality at least. Don't worry, this isn't going to be a stroll down memory lane. It's simply a frame of reference, because at the time I wondered if these things were going to float off into some sort of video void. You know, like the place where crocheted potholders and fruitcakes go once the "oh, how thoughtfuls" are over. So, what a rush it is to get views, likes, and subscribers. As of this recording, I've just gotten my 86th subscriber, and regardless of the connotations, I am delighted. But my favorite part of checking in on Inkworks is seeing new comments. It makes those long hours in the dungeon, the studio, worth it. No, seriously, that old "you must suffer for your art" thing is way off. In my case, the suffer part is only about 30%. Let's analogize this from a retail angle. Sure, 30% is significant enough to be noticeable, but it's not enough to make me cut out the coupon, drive to the store, and argue with 4 staff members over the fine print. I don't even recall what the point was, except that I wanted to say thank you to you, the viewers. You're much nicer than potholder purgatory. I'm happy to share this Swatch Till You Drop session. It was fun for me since I got to play with paint. Sure, as a viewing experience, it was probably kinda mundane, but it can't all be the high thrills of blue plates and blueprints, especially since I'm more of a low-key amusement sort of gal. Until next time, remember, never, ever say, I'll be right back. And stay frightsy, my friends.